all goods from Mexico are 25%, all goods from Canada 25%, except for energy. Energy's 10%. And we already had the 10% tariffs on China, and Trump's debating whether to add another 10% on China.
Yeah, tariffs galore.
So that's really shaking up the market, creating a lot of uncertainty. Everyone's saying inflation is going to be back on the rise, which we have seen inflation coming back up. It's a hectic one. We're definitely short-term bearish for quite a while at the rate this is going.
Yeah, it's going to get uglier before it gets better.
Our bottom most likely will be about 72,000 and then bounce off of that. Hopefully, ideally, new higher highs from there.
Welcome back, everybody,
to another week
of your favorite crypto podcast,
Sometimes Crypto,
the Unscripted
Crypto Podcast. Hey yo.
Ew.
Follow along if you think this is any good to you.
Yeah. So
And
last
share.
week we got big news that kind of immediately outdated our slightly delayed episode, but the information surprisingly is still somewhat relevant in that episode. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend checking it out. And yeah, it's the news that came out this weekend was surprising, all for it to be erased in a matter of no time. And I thought that was interesting. Essentially, Trump on Truth Social announced that there will be a national crypto reserve, strategic crypto reserve. The first post included specifically stating Cardano, XRP, and Solana. Then he followed up with another post saying, and also Bitcoin and Ethereum, like, of course. So then those 5 coins absolutely pumped on Sunday.
Well, to be fair, the entire market pumped, but those 5 in specific did pump a little stronger than the rest.
The entire
market,
all of crypto.
went up. Yeah.
Yeah, all of crypto went up, but those 5 in particular saw a lot of gains.
Correct.
Do you have the specific returns or like percentage? Because I remember Bitcoin, I saw 10. Sol.
Bitcoin pumped 11%. Sol pumped about 28%. ADA pumped like 30%. I don't have XRP here.
I saw someone say that ADA pumped 60%. I didn't verify that because I was kind of busy, but I was like, well, 60% seemed high.
So XRP pumped 37. I'll pull up ADA now and double check the number, because I saw. Give me a second. Let me pull up.
Also, I have
ADA could have pumped 60%.
I have like 0 ADA.
It pumped 77%.
77. Wow, much higher. When I saw it, it was like around 30.
Yeah, me too. Everything has come back very drastically since then.
Yeah, that's a follow-up news to all this. Complete roundabout. Like, everything, all those gains immediately erased yesterday.
The very next day.
The very next day, Monday. Because of another announcement that Trump made saying that tariffs for Mexico and Canada will effectively begin on Tuesday.
Today.
Yeah. So all that because but it wasn't just the crypto market that tanked, it was also the stock market. Trump said that
Nvidia lost like a 10% drop.
Wow.
As well.
Yeah, that's pretty hefty.
I think the Nasdaq saw like a 9% drop on Nvidia. The Nasdaq also saw something crazy. I don't know the exact number. I'm sorry.
It still baffles me how much like 10% is, because
to the biggest company in the world, that's $300 billion. I think it was.
But still, yeah, $300 billion. So like, if that happened 10 times, companies wiped out. Like 10 times. Granted, it's very difficult for a company to lose 100% value overnight. But
That's not Nvidia though.
well, I mean, like in general.
A small company, but we're talking about the biggest company.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's very hard for a large company to get wiped out overnight.
Yeah. It would take a. It wouldn't be easy. There had to be actually something fundamentally wrong with the company for it to happen.
Yeah, something. I don't know. But yeah, and yet we see in crypto 60% gains overnight, 30%, 10% pretty commonly. The 60% is obviously less common, but still very common. And those numbers just alone are intense for people who aren't in the market actively.
You lost me. I don't know the correlation here.
No, I'm not. There's no correlation. I'm just saying something that like still baffles me today. It's like you're talking about Nvidia losing 10%, and I'm like, oh wait, 10% is significant.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also because we're focusing on the percentage, not the market cap of what that represents.
Yeah, of course. But still, even in the case for Nvidia, the market cap is also massive.
Yeah. But like, if you were to wipe out 300 billion in crypto, it takes a much bigger percentage.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. But yeah, the news.
Man, the news was short lived.
The news was short lived, but still significant. I think that is very bullish, long term for Bitcoin. Obviously, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP. There's only 3 other countries in the world right now that actively have a crypto reserves, like an active reserve. The information on one of them is still pretty scarce, because we don't know. Tomato. I don't know about that. But essentially we have, and they're not big countries, so they're taking a risk on this to a degree because like no other country is doing this. But we have El Salvador, the Central African Republic, as well as Bhutan, with crypto reserves, Bitcoin reserves. El Salvador started in 2021, back when Bukele made the announcement that they're going to make Bitcoin legal tender. They currently have about 6,088 Bitcoin in its reserve, estimated at about 558 million, give or take. Bhutan has 11,000 Bitcoin in its reserves, so Bhutan has more than El Salvador, and El Salvador was the first one to announce the Bitcoin reserve. It was the first country ever to announce a Bitcoin reserve. And then we also have the Central African Republic, which has a Bitcoin reserve, but we don't know how much they have. So America will be the 4th country to have a strategic crypto reserve, including some alts.
You just said that with crypto.
Yeah, you're right. I know. I said I felt the redundancy as I said that. I absolutely felt that redundancy. But that's not to say that other countries are not holding Bitcoin. China, for example, has 194,000 Bitcoin, despite it being illegal over there, why is it illegal, or like the government that sees the what's the terminology for the People's Republic of China? That's what I was looking for. The People's Republic of China is against decentralized currencies, so they're trying to work on a centralized digital central bank digital currency, CBDC. Yet they have 194,000 Bitcoin. Additionally, we have Ukraine holding 1,200 Bitcoin that it received through donations for the war. Finland has about 890 Bitcoin seized for narcotics trafficking investigations that they've been doing. And India owns 450 Bitcoin that were seized through crypto fraud investigations. So there's some pretty big countries holding significant amount of Bitcoin that don't have a reserve. Oh, America. I forgot. America's one of those.
I was about to say, I'm like, I think you're leaving the biggest one out.
Yeah, America. 200,000 Bitcoin. Massive, massive amount of Bitcoin that we hold. And there's people in the government ready to spend that money. And hopefully with this crypto reserve, it gets saved.
Yeah. Or it could be sold off to buy the other alts that they added to the reserve.
That might also be true. It really depends on what percentage they're gonna split it up. What or how they say they want to have the reserve. Let's say it's fixed amounts. Like let's say, oh, we want 200,000 Bitcoin, 100,000 ETH, whatever, million XRP, Solana, whatever, like fixed numbers or percentages distribution, which would mean that if it's a percentage, then it'll be more actively managed just to fix it to be where it's supposed to be as prices change.
Yeah. I'm going to say now I'm not thrilled they added everything else to the mix.
I'm not surprised that they added everything else to the mix. I wouldn't say I'm upset about it.
I'm a little upset about it.
And why is that?
Because all the other assets are inflationary.
Yeah, so all the other ones are not commodities. Well,
ETH is not a commodity either.
ETH is a commodity.
ETH is a commodity. I'm not saying the securities are commodity. I'm just saying there is no fixed supply on the other three.
XRP, Solana, Cardano.
And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this should have been treated more like gold and silver.
I get the understanding of that, and I feel for some reason like Mike Pompliano would also agree with you. He did come out with a statement on his opinions on this. I have not read that yet or heard what he had to say. But Mike is a big Bitcoin maxi, so he's probably on the same page. And then you would think Michael Saylor would also be Bitcoin maxi, like, oh no, it should just be Bitcoin. But he has...
I don't believe him. I don't believe what he's saying.
Okay, so how do you feel about Michael Saylor's take?
He's lying. He's lying to people.
What did he say?
I saw it. He said that it makes sense that they would all buy other assets apart from Bitcoin. And it's a growing industry.
Uh-huh. You don't think that's accurate?
No, I don't believe he believes that.
Oh. That it makes sense to buy other assets?
Correct. If he did, why didn't he himself buying them?
I get that. I totally understand where you're coming from. because Michael Saylor essentially just only buys Bitcoin, no other crypto asset.
So he doesn't believe what the government's doing.
He doesn't believe in it for himself, but he could see the reasoning why they're doing it.
No. You're going to say the guy who's been pumping and shooting Bitcoin to everyone for the last 10 years is now saying, oh, no, this is okay, though. The government should buy every other asset other than just Bitcoin. I don't agree with that at all.
So I think he would be... No, I don't think he's saying that they should. I don't know his specific wording right now, but I would... Okay, so to level with you, I think he would prefer if there was just Bitcoin, because it is, in his eyes, the superior asset. It is the king of all cryptos, essentially. But he's saying it in the eyes of the government, losing out on the potential for being involved in other crypto assets, not just Bitcoin, makes sense. And that's all he's saying. That, like, to cap out the other opportunities for growth and innovation doesn't make sense for the government.
Then why doesn't he say that to himself? Why didn't he preach that in general? Why shouldn't everyone not agree with that? If everyone's on the same growth for the technology.
So I feel like I just answered that, though. So,
but what I'm saying is that I'm not arguing you. I'm arguing him. By the way, I'm not arguing against you. I think you're choosing the wrong side right now.
I think
he's selling out. I think he met Trump and he's like, you know what? Let me not go against the guy who just invited me to Mar-a-Lago and the White House.
That may be a possibility, I suppose. But so you think the crypto reserve should have just been strictly Bitcoin?
I think a reserve in itself should have been strictly Bitcoin, and I think if they wanted to go, we're gonna also look into other technology assets and make them and separate the two, would have been smarter.
What do you mean separate the two? Like another reserve, like a Bitcoin reserve and a crypto reserve?
Why? It doesn't have to be because if it's a reserve, it means we're just gonna hold this asset that we all know alter way more volatile than Bitcoin in itself. So it's not a reserve, and that typically take much longer to hold up in value.
So
compared to Bitcoin.
So you wouldn't. So just a Bitcoin reserve then. You just wanted a Bitcoin reserve because
it's a Bitcoin reserve.
Because it has more financial.
It is a reserve.
It makes more financial sense to have a Bitcoin reserve as opposed to other cryptos.
Yeah, that are more illiquid as well.
So now my question to you is, why don't you only buy Bitcoin and not the other coins? Why do you buy all the other coins? Because now to me it kind of seems like you're because now to me it seems like you're doing the same exact thing Saylor's doing, but in reverse. You buy alts and say the government should have a crypto reserve, a Bitcoin reserve. Saylor buys Bitcoin, and he says that the government should have a crypto reserve.
Because I buy them with the knowledge, with the idea of I will be selling at X point in time. The government can't do that.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. To you, it's an asset that you trade, and a reserve it should just be reserve.
Exactly. If we're not going to hold these, if we're going to hold these assets for an X period of time, that means we're trusting the fact of these assets will be around for that long and not lose value, and only go up in value, or be stable enough in value, which ETH has not done. Sol doesn't do either. None of them really do that long term. Sol may be better, ETH may be better than ADA and XRP, but it's
so which of the I personally think that the most controversial one on this list of approved tokens might actually just be Solana, as opposed to XRP, ADA, and ETH. Reason being,
What do you mean?
The most like I understand the reasoning between ETH. I understand the reasoning for XRP and Cardano. Oh, by the way, just to make the distinction, Cardano is ADA, ADA is Cardano. Cardano's the blockchain, ADA's the token. I understand XRP and Cardano. I understand ETH. Solana to me is the most controversial one because of its heavy association to meme coins. It's heavy.
Really? And ETH has NFTs that all went to zero.
I understand that, but ETH also has an insane amount of like smart contracts on there for like
that no one uses. That no one uses.
I think people do use it because it's also the backbone for a lot of ERC20 tokens
that are all switching off and becoming their own chains to not have to rely on ETH.
That is happening. That is happening.
I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying you're right.
I know.
But at the same time, ETH is same as
I know.
Sol.
No.
It's like,
I know.
I don't know.
The issue with Sol is that it also has a heavy history of shutting down, crashing.
It hasn't shut down in a year, more than a year at this point.
I think it's been like almost 2 years.
More than a year, close to 2 years, and it has more transactioning than all those tokens put together. Not really, but close enough.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then the reason why XRP and Cardano are on that list is because those two tokens are ISO 220 compliant. No, ISO 222 compliant. And that is a good opportunity for. I think that leads as a good opportunity for a reserve. Essentially, let me add more clarity. So essentially, ISO 222 is a ISO standard, which is a global standard for electronic data interchange between financial institutions. Essentially, it describes metadata repositories, describes messages, business processes, process for maintenance. It covers financial information transferred between financial institutions that include payment transactions. This also includes securities and settlements, credit cards, and debit cards. So it's like the way banks communicate with each other is through this ISO 222 compliance. The most commonly known one is SWIFT. So if you're going to do an international business transaction or an international transaction from one bank to another, you use the SWIFT number of the banks that you are sending and receiving from to help facilitate that, because SWIFT is ISO 222 compliant. XRP and Cardano are both ISO 222 compliant and function way faster, way cheaper than SWIFT. So
that's right.
Yeah. So good opportunity there for those two assets. I'm surprised about Cardano because we just haven't heard much about Cardano. Most people talk about XRP.
Not disagreeing on that end. With that, I would have, again, I don't think it should be in a reserve in and of itself. It should be called something else, and not a reserve in and of itself.
Yeah, so
I think that's more my gripe.
Yeah, so I think Bitcoin reserve would have been much more appropriate. Some type of like mandate to switch banks over from SWIFT to Cardano XRP, either or. XRP and Solana, surprised. I'm just literally surprised that they even mentioned those at all.
You meant ADA and Sol.
No, my bad. I said XRP, right? Yeah. No, not even
you said
XRP. It's so backtrack. XRP and ADA or Cardano, a mandate for banks to switch over to that, and then Ethereum and Solana. Those are the two that surprised me. I was more shocked seeing Ethereum and Solana there than XRP and Cardano. Well, I was shocked to see all four in reality. Which makes me think maybe the reason why they had ETH and Solana there is to kind of like bridge the gap between adding XRP and Cardano in the reserve.
Could be. Also, it could be you're also looking at the second biggest chain. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's
the second and third biggest chain.
Well, Sol is not the third anymore. It's gone down because of XRP and ADA, or XRP mainly, but also Sol being the one of the more popular chains to use and just transact on as well. I don't know. I feel like it could have been separated to two different things. One, an actual reserve as like Bitcoin, and then a tokens to use. Something else that's more like we're going to use these tokens for infrastructure in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, bullish either way. Pump my bags, Trump either way. Well, you're pumping it to hell, but not the point.
Yeah, that whole tariff announcement yesterday saying, yeah, starts tomorrow, immediately crashed.
Oh, but before we get to the tariffs, mind you, Bitcoin was on a downtrend. We went down to like 77,000. Market took a dump.
Prior to the announcement.
Then, well, we were like when we recorded last week.
Yeah.
Bitcoin
That's why I say watch that episode. It is still relevant. Sorry.
Yeah. When we recorded last week, Bitcoin was sitting at 87,843. We then pushed down to heavy to about where I said it would. It would go about 79, and even lower potentially. It could have hit just about 72. It bounced earlier, which is not bad. Bounced earlier, got bought up, held, and then we get the news on Sunday that Trump is the US is releasing the strategic reserve. Everything flies. Market USDT dominance comes down, and then Monday we get tariffs being announced once again,
confirmed
and released. Confirmed starting today, and causes the whole market to take another one on us.
Down.
So the entire 10% we went up, we went down, and now we're continuing to drop back down to that same 79,000, and we could potentially see even lower.
Yep.
Hopefully we don't. We did close. We did fill in multiple levels, so we'll see what happens. From the looks of it, going down seems like the most optional for the thing that's happening at the moment. And now
good time to buy. Good time to buy.
To DCA in.
Yeah, DCA in. Yeah, don't do one fell swoop. That tends to be not recommended amongst anybody. But yeah, tariffs on Canada and Mexico start officially today. So if you're importing stuff from Canada or Mexico, your goods just became, or you're buying stuff from Canada and Mexico, your goods just became 25% more expensive. I think it was 25%. Don't exactly quote. Actually, you know what? If you have that specific number, write it down. Write it down below. Correct me, please.
Of what?
The percent that the tariff will be for Canada.
25%.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure on it. That's why I said that.
Yeah, most all goods from Mexico are 25%. All goods from Canada 25%, except for energy. Energy's 10%.
Yeah, I know we covered it.
We already had
before.
the 10% tariffs on China, and Trump's debating whether to add another 10% on China.
Yeah. Tariffs galore.
So that's really shaking up the market, creating a lot of uncertainty. Everyone's saying inflation is going to be back on the rise, which we have seen inflation coming back up. So it's a hectic one. We're definitely short-term bearish for quite a while at the rate this is going.
Yeah, it's going to get uglier before it gets better.
Hopefully we can see our bottom. Hopefully our bottom 79,000 could be very doubtful. Our bottom most likely would be about 72,000. Retest the previous all-time highs we were making for about 5 to 6 months, and then bounce off of that to make ideally new higher highs from there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the 72,000 Bitcoin if it reaches that.
Alex is just like, I have money to spend, so I want to buy.
I have a job, and I save money by buying crypto. So, yes, I'm excited, particularly for that. If it's below $100,000 to me, sounds like a good time to buy.
You're ready.
Yeah. So
yeah.
My dad had sent me like a video from MSNBC News or something like that. MSBC. I don't know the acronym. Where they had a guest. I don't remember his name. I don't even know the guy, but well regarded for some reason. And his initial reaction, or like not reaction, but price prediction for Bitcoin, like sometime last year. Same spot most people have, 150. 150,000, but then they ask him again this time, and he's like, yeah, 150 for sure, likely higher. So
that they're expecting that it'll break above 150.
Yeah, for this year,
or hit 150, better yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yep.
At least for momentarily as things settle.
Absolutely.
Once we get tariffs settled, everything settled, we wait for it to see what Trump could potentially say on Friday, because he said that there will be the first crypto summit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's happening this Friday, correct.
Which, as of right now, there hasn't been much said on any other crypto occasion. Like, that's create enough just momentum in the market to buy. Interest is down. So, we'll really see. It's in tough times in crypto, in the markets in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the good, the bad of Trump. So essentially, additionally, this is a little bit off tangent from crypto and more into government budget cuts, and specifically related to America's cybersecurity infrastructure, because Trump made 130 cuts from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, very big organization. In terms of job layoffs, like they laid off 130 employees from a very big security agency. And there's another agency on the line, NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They're facing layoffs to come to the numbers of about 500 employees. So the reason why I say this is significant is because these two organizations are heavily involved in creating security best practices, standards, frameworks for information technology. And this is something that might be bad because of the fact that security is like it's like it tends to be one of the more important topics that people care about. That's particularly why our government, our funding for, what is it, the military is so high, and this isn't even when it comes to technology, this isn't violent, this is tech. So I thought that was an interesting unfortunate event that's going on, cutting off so much employees from these two organizations.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate because I've been on a roll today.
Mm-hmm.
How many employees did they cut? Did you say? What was the number?
So 163, 100. My bad. Correction. 130 from CISA, and they're projecting 500 cuts, 500 employees from NIST.
Okay. So my only pushback, there isn't much here for me to push back on. What if the majority of those employees already weren't productively doing anything though, compared to the rest of the...
No. I get that. If that's the case, if they're working on something that's not a high value thing and it's not particularly necessary, I get that. But at the same time, I'm not there personally. Like, I don't know what these people are doing. Hopefully it is for the good. But I don't know what these people are doing, and that's just my concern. My concern is that this might have negative consequences. I'm not saying it will have negative consequences. I'm just concerned.
I love it. Just cut them off. We'll figure it out one step at a time. The reason I'm also saying that is because I don't want to pick and choose when I want to be worried about the cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm worried about this aspect of cutting, maybe I should be worried about the other aspects of cutting, where it may affect something.
I mean, you should be worried about the aspects of cutting that might actually affect something. But
they all affect something.
Yeah, but something significant is what I mean.
No,
something significant.
You can't tell me, but no, this is what I'm not. That's what I'm saying. But you can't tell me what's significant to me if I can't tell you what's significant to you.
No, fair. That's reasonable.
Like this is the hill you wanna be like. No, maybe we should be more. What's the word?
Cognizant.
Not cautious. When we do the budget cuts here and be sure who we're cutting versus the other ones were like whatever, and the same ways the one who's in federal aid could be like, no, we should worry about what's being cut here rather than somewhere else.
Well, in reality, you should be worried about what's being cut everywhere, because what are the consequences?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
what are the consequences for these cuts?
I'm not arguing that. Yeah, but it's how fast they can also rehire whoever was cut out.
Yeah, because the flip side is everyone's worried about everyone's just excited. It's like, oh, yeah, let's get money back. Let's stop spending money. That's kind of what people are driving. So yeah, let's cut. And then you're right. There is the added benefit of oh wait, we kind of broke something. We could just hire them back. Yeah. Less people.
Elon was on Rogan and. Elon was on Rogan, he talked about, he's like, if we do break something, we can just hire everyone back immediately and fix it the very next day. Yeah. Or in the very moment. There is no need to wait on rehiring them if what their role was very crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we've talked about on the pod before. Elon does have if you don't get rid of enough people that you need to bring people back, you didn't cut enough type of a mentality, because that's the way he runs things. So to your point, yes, we should be worried about all aspects, and all I'm saying is, worst case scenario, I think we will.
I know what you're trying to do.
There'll be some way to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
What am I trying to do?
In terms of saying, like you said, you were playing devil's advocate. I understand that game for this situation.
Because mind you, the minute this is your hill is the cybersecurity aspect. The minute we get to budget cuts in in military, That's gonna be someone else's hill. They're like, we're not cutting the military spending. We can't do that now. Blah blah blah.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing with the
Which
the
we
budget
should
cuts.
cut, by the way. We should reduce
By half.
spending, just to be fair.
By 50%. Why? Because we don't know where 50% of our assets are at. So yeah, you don't need if you don't know where it's at.
Right, he's a wild boy.
If you don't know where it's at, cut it out. That's like that's a very opinionated thing. Like my thing is more so like, how about we get the audits good? Like actually pass an audit.
But to your point, you're right though. If we don't know where 50% of the thing is, we're gonna cut you. You have to either tell us where it went, where is it going, or you're cutting, or your budget's being cut by 50%. Because I can't give you money if I don't know where the money went.
Exactly.
No, I'm with you. You have a point.
And that's going to bring
concerns.
concerns.
Be the same guy like you.
It's going to be like,
what if we get attacked? What are we going to do with this? Like, oh.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should take a listen. You know what? I'll take all those budget cuts and just buy Bitcoin, Solana, ADA, XRP for us. How about that? Buy me the alts.
Yeah.
Now, but I'm with you. It is still a worry to have. Like, these cuts could have an effect.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I trust Elon too much. I'm going to be honest with you. I just trust him too much. I have too much confidence in him.
I think the guy's a bit slimy, personally. He likes doing a little bit too much market manipulation, from what I've seen. And
you weren't saying that a year ago when we were praising him on this podcast.
Okay, no, listen. I have said that before. I have said that he is slimy because of his market manipulation. Don't get that twisted. I do think he is very effective. I do think he is very effective at running companies and growing wealth. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be where he is today, point blank. And like, not to get into other things, but essentially, he has his faults, and you can't praise anybody like all that much. You can't follow someone that you don't even know, like at a personal level, blindly. You have to have some level of doubt.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I don't care who he is as a person when he runs 5 multi-billion-dollar companies and they're all multi-successful. Mm-hmm. And he's taken the majority of them from either bare bones or zero to where they are today. And there's no other CEO who's done that.
Mm-hmm. So
in terms of business, like, in the terms of what he's good at, I'm not saying I can assure you, but I believe he is the best at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that also. I agree. I would agree with that statement. I think he is one of the best.
Right?
I mean, he's...
Is he not the richest?
Is he not the richest person in the world?
But not even but I'm not counting money. Mm-hmm. Like the money's just like
you're saying how he got there.
There's no money there. How he got there, what he does, he's the only one who does that. Like everyone wants to say he's not smart, or wants to say he's not like, or he's like a selfish piece of shit. Could be. Mm-hmm. But he also creates more jobs than any of you who are criticizing him.
Facts.
Whether they're paid well, whether is irrelevant. You're just you're an employee of him to a degree.
Indirectly feeds more mouths
than you feed.
Than most people.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very hard to do that.
And like his companies are actually like with employees that are paid pretty decently. Tesla, bunch of
they're
engineers.
Also all in the not disagreeing with you. The companies are also in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to, I say this
rockets within the states.
I say this as opposed to like Walmart, because Walmart doesn't feed that much people, because like a lot of the times those employees are part-time employees making minimum wage at best. Yeah, they employ a lot of people, but the quality of life for those employees are not great. As opposed to Elon's employees, they're making 6 figures, the vast majority of them.
No, that's a little. I can't say that. I don't know.
Well,
enough,
I would say
there's a push. There's a push.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say
the
ones working on like those companies, Tesla, SpaceX, the satellite one. I keep on forgetting the
Starlink.
Starlink. Like,
I think SpaceX is a part of Starlink, but I'm not sure.
SpaceX is a part of Starlink?
Yeah.
Or Starlink's a part of SpaceX?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Starlink is a part of SpaceX. Yeah.
Nonetheless, I'm done with that rant. I'm sorry.
But not the point. The point is because we're talking about the government and the cutting.
Correct.
But yeah, I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's not doing this to gain anything out of it. I'm not saying he's doing this, but like it's from the kind of his heart. Maybe to a degree it could be, and then to a degree there's incentive. What I'm saying is, I think there will be cuts, and I do think if there is something that does break in that time or as he's doing it, it will be fixed relatively fast.
I don't know, man. He does good, but at the same time, like you said, whether it's out of the kindness of his heart or for some incentive, he is likely going to be very effective. Yet, he still deserves some scrutiny as everybody else.
Duh, I didn't say don't scrutinize him.
I know. I'm just saying. For the redundancy.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, do you have any other stories?
No, not market's garbage. We're sitting at 82,800. Prices to look out for if we don't hit this within this week. Realistically, I'm gonna say 72,000. We'll first probably hit again 79. See what happens there. If we bounce again, grab the whatever liquidity is there. That's great. If not, we're gonna probably go test our lower region of $72,092. So not pretty.
That reminds me of something that I saw on CoinGlass. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up really quickly.
As you're putting it up,
because
the rumor for Friday is, by the way, that I've been reading on Twitter, is that Trump will be announcing tax capital gains, no capital gains tax on crypto.
The rumor.
That's the
for
rumor.
Zero capital gains tax
on crypto. So we'll see if that happens or not.
That's actually pretty cool.
I agree.
So William, I'm having a hard time finding it. I don't know if you have the Bitcoin chart on CoinGlass that shows the monthly returns, like positive, negative. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I have it, but I can see if I find it.
Yeah, essentially the reason why I'm trying to mention this is because
I found
February ended. Okay. Oh wow, cool. That was fast. February ended.
You want me to share it?
Yeah, please.
Here we go.
This is quarterly, and this one's monthly. So February ended red with 17%.
Jesus.
And if you look at the chart, yeah. February 25th, 17%. Look all the way down that month of February. Only 2 other Februarys have been red. And to add to that, the following month, March, both of those incidences also were red. Currently, March is in the red. And I mean, obviously, there's not a lot of data to go off of here, but it's only happened 3 times. But assuming trends continue, we might see a red March also.
Seems like it. Also, if you notice, we will most likely also have, because 2020 was the halving year, 2021 was the year that followed. We had April, May, and June red. So we might be in for a rough one if things don't spruce up macro wise.
Yeah.
Just saying, we might be in we might be in some pain if this continues.
Yeah. Well, in 2017 was the month for the year after the halvening also.
Mm-hmm.
And look at those numbers. Plus 32, plus 52, plus 10. Like, that's massive. Granted.
Yeah, I mean,
That's also
everyone
the
is
year.
speculating that we are resembling this 2017 cycle more than the 2021 cycle, 2020 cycle. So we shall see
Mm-hmm.
what plays out.
If that's the case, my friend, now you're getting me excited because you're amping me up because
We're not bullish enough
2017 was the one that got me into all this. It's because of that I was like, okay, I can't ignore this any longer.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, just wanted to mention that because I thought that was relevant.
Yeah, and they're quite negative. So I mean, it's ugly right now. Crypto's ugly. Stock market's ugly. There's a lot of uncertainty.
The thing to look forward to, I guess, right now is that February crypto. What is it? Meeting? Not meeting.
What?
What did I say? February?
You said February
Friday.
crypto meeting.
I'm sorry. Fridays.
The Friday meeting.
Yeah. To see if we get tax free.
See if we get anything bullish enough to keep momentum.
Yeah.
Which it's hard right now because we just saw some
Tariffs.
great news.
Tariffs.
No, not even the tariffs. We saw great news of a crypto reserve, right? You got more. People could say you got more than what you wanted. You got more than just Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And it
got
enough.
obliterated.
And it got obliterated the very next day. It wasn't enough, and now it engulfed the day prior, and now we're pushing down again.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It's a rough one.
I am kind of curious because
well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see.
Wait for 72,000. If nothing else other than that happens, wait for 72,000.
Yep.
I'm logging everything. At
Yeah,
that
and
point.
I guess
I'm borrowing money.
I guess
from the
with
bank.
that.
But on that note,
That's it. You're not gonna sell some plasma. Sell.
I already sold my plasma, my liver, and my big toe. What's left to sell?
Your big toe. That's a rough one. All right,
have
guys.
no balance.
Well, if you made it this far, please drop us a like, leave us a comment, share with a buddy or your family. We love doing this. We do it every single week. We also give out short clips for those who don't want to watch the full thing. Highly recommend watching those.
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in.
It's been another week
Of your favorite crypto podcast,
Sometimes Crypto,
the Unscripted
Crypto Podcast. Hey yo.
Hey yo.